for the Colorado Avalanche. In college basketball, Illinois beat Northwestern 73-66, Maryland beat Nebraska 64-50, and Arkansas beat Florida 75-64. And in the NBA, the Boston Celtics beat the Denver Nuggets 112-99, the Toronto Raptors beat the Milwaukee Bucks 124-113, and the Portland Trail Blazers beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 115-104. For more scores, news, highlights, and much more, listen to Radio Dixie 91.3.
Weather brought to you by A Podcast Studio. Record your podcast today. apodcaststudio@gmail.com.
All right, here's your area-wide temperature forecast for today, February 17th, St. George, highs 53 and lows 31. Berken, highs 52 and lows 33. Zion National Park, highs 47 and lows 25. And Brian Head, very cool this morning, highs 8 and lows 0. For Radio Dixie and Radio St. George, this is Dennis Mattinson.
Hi, I'm Margot, your host for Music 101. You know, when you are the leader of the free world, you are bound to have a lot of songs written about you. And just because you're not the leader of the free world anymore, it doesn't mean that songwriters aren't going to go back to your policies and write songs about them. And that's what we are going to explore on this week's Music 101, songs about United States presidents. And they are not all protest songs.
Music 101, Sunday evenings at 7 on Radio St. George 100.3 FM.
Classical music the way it should be on Radio St. George at 100.3 FM.
This is KDXI St. George, Radio St. George at 100.3 FM. Creator of Energy Healing by Design, Nicole Ashton, a world-renowned healer and luminary whose life after death experience has allowed her the gift of empowering people around the globe to heal and grow into their true authentic space. Nicole, with her natural connection to Source, which has remained open since her return, will help you and your family find the frequency of gratitude and patient love that will assist you in awakening your soul's design. We now welcome you to Return to Consciousness with your host, Nicole.
Hello, all you beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Return to Consciousness, live with Nicole and April. This is our third episode in 2021. Super excited to shift it up a little bit, or a lot. It's time for people to step into their sovereignty, to be the living transmission of your sovereign human self. And as a teacher guide, sent back from God or the heavens or whatever you want to call it, when I died for 10 minutes, knowing that stepping into this knowingness and communicating with spirit since I was a little child, I found myself trying to fit in to what other people thought of me or make them comfortable, which in return I had started losing pieces of myself, even after I crossed over and came back and was just brightened up with the truth. So this year we decided to go ahead and just step right in and call on the spirits and allow this to really be a spirit guided radio. And we are last night my room was super filled with spirits and a lot of information. And we're going to jump right into that and a meditation and just allow things to just happen. And so I guess stepping out, stretching is out of the regular, everyday, normality. So we invite you to sit back and relax and allow yourself to go into a deeper knowing, maybe of dropping into your heart space and finding out what fits for you. And some things we say might not work for you right now. And so you can just observe it, expand, wonder, never lose that sense of wonder. Be thinking about it, shelf it for later, or click off. Whatever works for you. This is a positive station that we are doing the best we can. We've shown up. We've been asked to show up and share our gifts, and that is what we're going to do. And I am Nicole Ashton, your host, and you are?
I'm April Betty.
Good afternoon. I'd say good morning, but
Good afternoon. I'm so excited for your meditation.
me too. It's very guided. It's always spirit guided, but I have just kind of surrendered to my own insecurities of emails that I've got that aren't very pleasant, doubting and teasing. I mean, as far as the most interesting thing is, before we go into the meditation and go into a peaceful state, and you might have some stories around this as well, is that when you're stepping out into the unknown zone, you seem to have a lot of resistance, negative people, and whatever. And it still affects me a little bit. I don't allow it to as much as it used to. The naysayers, the people that email you just to get a rise. And I usually, I do ignore them. But it's the simplest things is when what I'm talking about is to the workers and the light workers, the readers, the ones that are sharing their gifts and not really even knowing what you call them. You are able to speak to spirit, share messages, and you know from the depths of your soul you're supposed to, and you're been asked to share these messages, right? Well, to the people that have a negative response, we love you, and hopefully someday you will find yourself to loving yourself enough that if you have an opinion that is uncomfortable or for you, then write it down and send it to somebody that cares, but not to us, because it's just this is the simplest thing that I got. So I did a chakra class, and all of my stuff went out the other day. My technology just didn't want to work, so halfway through it kind of went off, and I got all these responses of good. It was good responses. They're like, it was beautiful, but we got cut off. Can we revisit it? And a lot of good ones. And then there were some bad ones, such as saying, why is your face crooked? Why did your mouth? You have making jokes and stuff. And I wanted to say, well, I had a stroke when I was 19. That right side of every day is a struggle to remember how to use my muscles. I died and nothing could work. And I'm like, why do I feel like I need to defend what I, who I am? And I feel like that I got that response so that I could share with people that are stepping out, being their gifts, helping people. And it's okay. It's okay. And there's going to be that backlash, I guess, of people that are insecure and that have nothing better to do than to criticize other people because they're, I guess they're too scared to find out what their own gifts are. That's the only thing that I can think of. It's because you usually are rejecting somebody because you're scared of who you are. You're scared of your own light, or you see something in somebody else you don't like, and or that you resembles in yourself. There's always this reflection. So I feel like somebody that is just stepping into their career or stepping into their life path of being a reader or a medium. It looks like to me a medium. Do it. It's gonna be uncomfortable a lot of times, but the times that you see your words and messages changed a life, and then you start getting the positive feedback, it way overdoes. Because this person I'm talking to, I don't have a name and it could be a majority of people, but it feels like to me that you've stepped out into your own, you have done some readings, you've done some stuff, and you have got 100 amazing responses and 2 negative ones. That's just a ratio. And you're focused on those 2. I'm inviting you to look at the positive ones. And if you even need to have somebody go through your emails or respond, the negative ones aren't your people. And so let it go. And it's hard at first, but when you do it, the more you do it, the more you practice that, the easier it gets. And this person's very sensitive. So I invite you, if it feels like a negative response, just delete it, and don't feel bad about deleting it. Don't have that guilt and shame. Have you experienced any of that?
All the time.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm almost used to it. So I always say being offended is a choice. So just delete those. Don't even acknowledge it. And also, if you're just starting out, it's good to, like, when you get good feedback from somebody, save it. Like, save a card that someone wrote you, or if they sent you a voice message saying, like, how much you help them, because you just hear that one message and you're like, yes. It doesn't matter the negative response you get. And once you're so comfortable with, whatever people say they're allowed to say, it's how you respond to it. So you just don't let it bother you. Just keep moving forward. And a lot of people might have a hard time doing that. And I always have to remind myself lately to stay in my own lane. Because I believe, too, like, people will show up in your space that they're supposed to be in your space. And I think sometimes people are offended if I don't go to their activities. However, there's so many classes and so many activities out there. And I can't be everywhere. It's not that I don't love somebody or love what they're doing. It's that I'm somewhere else because that's where I get to be, Mm-hmm. So don't be offended because it's not that I'm not supporting you or loving you. It's just I'm over here doing something else. And there's nothing wrong with it. However, some people will turn it into a story like, she never attends my things or she never goes to my classes. Does she think she's better than me? Of course not.
I'm super sensitive, so I have to stay in my own lane and be in my own space a lot of times, and it's never to do with anybody else. And if someone thinks that about you, then that's a reflection of them. So I invite those people just to fall in love with yourself, and then you don't have those reflections. However, I am super excited to share with you that last week. This is the story. This is how amazing these spirits right now that are trying to come through and speak are. There was a teenager that came through, and she shared a message with her father saying for her father to let go. It happens that evening, I have a couple that the husband is and they gave me permission to share, is suffering from a life-threatening disease, and they come to me. Well, as I was speaking to them, I realized his wife and I was sharing, it's his wife's brother's daughter. And it floored me. Still, I've been doing this work forever, but that evening of sharing this beautiful message from this teenager that had committed suicide, and her dad did say I could share the story because he is now being an advocate for addiction and suicide and things like that, and his name is Billy, and he can leave his information in the comments if he chooses, just because that's his choice. But he did say I could share his story. He was just amazed at that's exactly, that message is exactly what he needed to hear. And look at how Spirit knew I was going to be on the radio. They knew that client was coming to me that night, and they knew he needed to get that information. Your ancestors and guides and angels and source, creator, whatever that looks like to you, is so trying to speak to you, and they are going to go to any of us workers that will listen and that are brave enough to share the messages. That's why I say to you, these mediums out, whatever. Sometimes I think the biggest thing that we go through, we don't know what to call ourselves. We're messengers. We're mediums. We're no names, and that's okay. Like I was even telling April today, I am Nicole. I don't know what I do. I show up as a messenger in whatever form that the Creator God tells me to. So as bringing this to a whole, look at that, feel that message that this gentleman, this father that lost his daughter in August of 2019 needed to hear. It came through the radio station, through me, through this little girl, this teenager that has crossed over, that wants to help through me. they brought a client to me in the evening of this message, and it changed lives like that, a whole family dynamic. And I'm sure that it's flowering, and I hope that they share more with me, so then I can share it with you, and Billy and your sister, and I invite you to drop comments underneath this show on my page, or encourage people and let them know that there's assistance for you. There's assistance for the ones that have crossed over, these ancestors that are trying to come through and help in the way that they can, being on the other side. And believe it or not, the ancestors and angels are very strong. They are way more stronger than we are in this vulnerable human body. We are the messengers, but yet this vessel, the integrity of this vessel is so important, because without us, they can't deliver their message either. So feel that cycle of existence. Feel that cycle of unfailing love. And again, thank you, Billy, for letting me share that information. And hopefully we'll see what happens through this, and I'm sure we'll be working with each other some more. So one other thing. No, the angels say no. They say go in the meditation. Do you have anything before?
No, I was thinking of something. I think we'll wait.
You can share it.
It was about, well, okay, so I wasn't so aware, but Nicole and I were visiting earlier, and I wasn't so aware, because your animals die, your pets die, but I wasn't really thinking, like, I'm so used to, like, human spirits around, that I didn't ever really think about these animals until you said, oh, well, you have animal spirits, because I was telling her I felt something go over my foot, and I didn't, isn't that funny? Like, it never dawned on me, because I'm so in this other world with.
Yeah, the animals, they're here even stronger, and we feel them a lot more, because they're so sensitive and pure and feeling love, and when they touch against you or you can feel them. There's like not an emotional rejection. Such as someone that's crossed over like a loved one, and you have an emotional not wanting to feel that loss. Sometimes you'll kind of push that away, but with animals you don't. So you feel those little tingles on your legs and those little brush up against you. They're just saying they're there.
I had no idea.
Yep.
No idea.
And right now it's time. It's in this beautiful chaos, I guess we can call it, with everything going on in the world. The collective needs us to shine our light, and you're the sunshine, you're the star, every little piece of you. Imagine, like I shared this sunrise and sunset in St. George on one of my Facebook pages, and I'm like, one thing you can guarantee right now is that up there, that sun is going to rise, and it's also going to fall for you. Rises and falls, and I was kind of going into a funny thing, because I'm like, man, I rise, and sometimes I feel like I fall. I rise back up, and I'm like, hey, I do it too. And then I'm like, hey, I wouldn't live without the sun. I wouldn't even be able to have this experience. I am like the sun. So then I'm like, shine, shine, shine. It's fun. It's fun to think everything that you're made of. I mean, have you ever really paused to think, what is this body even? Why? What's the integrity of it? Go explore it. Find out what these chakras are, these energy wells. I mean, you can call them anything you want. You have to have a certain system in your body to even be here in this existence. So go find it. It's fun when you do. So that conversation took a little bit of the morning, but let's do this
afternoon.
This afternoon. I just had my morning coffee. I shouldn't have
Let's
done
just
that.
say it's morning. It's morning.
Okay, so what we're going to do is ground ourselves. We'll do most of the meditation after, and some more conversation and channel anyone that wants to come through on the second half. But let's really ground ourselves and remember what we spoke about in the last episode. Is it's very important to be responsible for your energy that you are receiving and giving. So the best way to do that is to from your heart space, from the middle of your chest, connect to everything above and go into that God source creator, whatever sources you life, that spark of light, that very breath that you breathe. Imagine it moving down the top of your head like a diamond flame, ready just to move in your body and celebrate life. Light. Light your soul up, and you're going to feel it move down the body. It's going to move through each one of your chakras, which are the energy centers in your body. They will a frequency, a light, an energy, an intelligence of you that governs blood, bone, cells, and so on. Feel this energy of light just move down your body. Anchor it into the core of Mother Earth, right into that heart space, that sacred heart of Mother Earth, where your innate knowing is going to move up the integrity of the very nurturing Mother Earth that created you. Call up your light. Anchor your light in. Call it back. Feel it move up your feet, up the core of your body, and into the heart of that God source creator. Creating you a like figure 8 feeling or emotion. And as this moves through you, remember that you're connected to everything above and everything below. And from your heart, move it out and around you, creating you a tunnel of light, this pillar of light that is only yours, allowing you to heal in a safe space, share in a safe space, release stuff that doesn't serve you in a safe space without sharing it with others and without receiving others. So think of how important this pillar of light is. So as you're creating it and you're connecting to your higher self, your soul, that God source, the creator that created you, see what color is moving around. Maybe it's gold, maybe it's silver, maybe it's both. It's a prism. So many beautiful things are happening with so many people right now. They're just popping in as visions, and so I'm supporting in all of them as much as I can. And now you're just in this flow. And now bring yourself back to the awareness, to the messages that we have, as you're opening up your heart to your gifts. Maybe you see like a sense of color, a sound, or a smell. That is your loved ones communicating with you. Repeated numbers. There's so many things that spirits, ancestors, guides, angels share. And they'll start being repetitive until you get that. And the most important thing is when you feel, sense, and see, know this, respond to it in a positive way. Because joy is the highest frequency of healing, of enlightenment on the earth that I have experienced, that you can share. It's just this unconditional love of light, and it just happens. It's an action. You just do it. Think about it. When you just giggle fiercely, no reason. So in this space, feel somebody has there's shoulder blade. Someone has a very tense shoulder blade right in the middle. Seems to be a place often influenced by a negative energy or a heavy energy. So if that is you, take a deep breath in, call back your light, call light to yourself, breathe in that energy into your shoulder blades, release your shoulder blades. It feels like you're tight, like they're tight. So I'm like, release them, give yourself permission. I haven't experienced this before, like when somebody is literally almost closing their own light off on purpose. Do you feel that? Does that make sense? So take a deep breath in, call back your power if you choose to. Breathe this yellow light in as the sun and just move that through your body and release whatever that is in your back and through your nose and out your mouth. That is Brittany. If you are listening right now, remember that that internal sun is always with you, no matter the choices, no matter what life happens, the experiences that we go through, that no one can take your shine away. Nobody. So take a deep breath in. Remember that tiara. Put on your whatever it is that brings you the most joy, and jump and play right now, because you're constricting your heart chest, that is why it's causing you to have the back kidney pains and go into cycles that are uncomfortable. So we're sharing our love with you, supporting you, surrounding you. And the coral color that was in my healing room today, April, you said you loved it. So what do you have to share with Brittany?
Oh, I could see her dancing around right now, getting all crazy with herself, happy.
Do you know it was her?
I didn't know it was her, but I could see her happy.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I was like, I could hear her name in my ear. So if you want to share now or later, Britt, please do. Interesting thing is some people that had listened to the chakra class last night also had that same thing, same heaviness. So we're super excited to come back on the second half.
This is Lisa Cypers Kamen, host of Harvesting Happiness, broadcasting consciously prepared brain food, inviting you to join me on this week's show to learn how to practice the art of practice, harnessing the power of the creative mind with my guests, Eric Mazel, PhD, and Douglas Fields, PhD. To learn more, please visit harvestinghappinesstalkradio.com.
Harvesting Happiness, Sundays at 4 on Radio St. George 100.3 FM.
Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln is a proud supporter of the sports broadcasts you hear on Radio Dixie 91.3. Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln carries a variety of new and used vehicles at 145 West Hilton Drive in St. George and stgeorgeford.com. Radio Dixie 91.3 wishes to say thank you to Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln for their generous sponsorship of the DSU sports broadcasting you hear on Radio Dixie 91.3.
Every weeknight from 7 till 10, the Legends of Jazz take over. Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Kurt Elling, and so much more. Evening Jazz on Radio St. George 100.3 FM.
Spanish programming, weeknights from 6 to 7, and Saturdays from noon to 4. On Radio St. George 100.3 FM.
You're listening to Radio St. George 100.3 FM. We now welcome you back to Return to Consciousness with your host, Nicole.
Hello, and welcome back to the second half of this amazing show of connections. We have a lot of souls that are coming through and speaking, but we are thinking that maybe Facebook isn't working, and that's where we get a lot of our interaction, and also the person that their family came through last week was on there. So hopefully we'll be able to have this recorded somehow. If not, then I guess that's just how it was meant to be, and we'll share it again. So the second half, let's reground ourselves, because that kind of threw us off a little bit. It threw me off a little bit, worrying or wondering if it was able to broadcast over Facebook. But let's remember that white light going through us, that beautiful tunnel of light, that pillar of light that you are. really enforcing the energies. I can see that in the first half we spoke about the shoulder blades and how there was a lot of tension in the back. Feels like holding the collective, it's the collective emotion of all the things that are going around and through Earth right now, as far as people, as I don't like to say politics and like name it, but that's really what it is. Everybody seems to be in a chaotic state, and it is even worldwide now. It seemed to be more when you connected to people overseas that it was a little mellower maybe, but now it seems that it's worldwide. People are really having a concerned energy, and it is seeming to stick in the back shoulder blades because people are this is my view of things, is people are now not connecting, no, as far as hugging heart to heart, and you're literally moving your shoulder blades forward. I mean, think about that, feel that. You're moving your shoulder blades forward and your light is dimming because you don't have that. It's almost like your body's depressed, even if your mind's not. Think of that, feel that. When you walk around town or you go anywhere, it has nothing to do with rebellion of wearing a mask. It has nothing to do with that at all. It has to do with, if you notice people are putting their shoulders forward and they're literally dimming their light in their heart subconsciously. So what we get to do with those that understand or that have some kind of, let's say, just an open heart or an awareness, let's use that word, to how the energy system works in the body and how heart to heart works. Let's come together and do these shared spaces, these heart hugs, because it does work. So right now, as you're in your own in space, or your own sacred space, I'm having a confusion because that subject seems to be so diverse right now, and people want to judge because I use masks and stuff that I say I will use. Does that make sense? So I could also feel this collective in my energy. And so this is what I'm experiencing right now. The duality and the division between people is sad. And your body feels it. Even if your head is still doing all these classes, doing all this busy work and being this celebrity on Facebook, your body's feeling that the majority of people, of humans, are suffering from a physical depression, even if your brain does not understand it, even if you're still going through life. There's not that human connection going on. There's not the physical touch, and it's very important to come together and start energetically hugging people. Start energetically really, really doing it. Not talk about it, not post about it. Really do it.
I agree. The only word I could think of is it is sad. I know what you're talking about. I do think it's sad.
So right now, as you are in your sovereign space and you're having this urge to be on this session right now, or this opportunity to share with globally, because right now I'm going to share this with all the people that I know worldwide, because it's a very important message that connect to everything above, everything below. Open your heart space up and share a hug, a universal hug with people. And as interesting as it might sound and as crazy as I might sound, that is okay. I would rather be crazy and full of love than sitting in my house quiet and suffering and wondering what my friends or my loved one is doing in a rest home because I don't know how to love them. We're sharing with you right now how to touch their heart without feeling them physically right now. So at this time, I'm inviting you to close your eyes again. Go deeper this time, releasing any emotions, any resistance that you have to the unknown and not understanding how this works, because Your brain is not going to. So feel it in your heart as you connect to the beautiful white light above, this diamond flame, this ray of all that is, this source, this God that loves you dearly, and feel it move down into your heart. Down into Mother Earth. And feel that connection to all that is. And as you're remembering that you're a spark of light, you're a creation of love. As you're remembering this, feel your hands and your toes. You might feel some heat, some tingling. As you're remembering that the heartbeat of Mother Earth, the one that nurtures you, that offers you life, such as food, air, those simple things, right? As you're there, remember your sovereignty. Remember that you beat the same heartbeat, that same electrical magnetic field force is in your heart. And as you're being aware of this, remember you're connected to everything above and everything below. And ask yourself, what if I could create heaven on earth right here, right now? And feel your heart expand outside of yourself. Through your family, your community. Remember to take deep breaths through your nose, that spirit, that soul. And on the out breaths, go further. And then as you're connecting with that pure light and love, and remembering you're the living transmission of the sovereign human right as we speak. You are God life. You are that creation. You are the one you've been waiting for. And as you step into being that miracle, feel your maybe loved ones that are ill or in retirement homes or across seas, and tap into their heart so they can feel and know that they are not alone. And as you breathe in and out, know that beyond a shadow of doubt that this is working. My heart and my mind are in a perfect alignment. My heart's desires and my thoughts are one. I am a spiritual being in a physical body. The journey ahead is filled with light. The light of my soul illuminates my path. Feel that as your heart and your brain become one. And I'm connecting to someone that's just crossed over recently. She's a female and it was very recently. And she has a message to her family. She was one of a very delightful soul. She lived on her own terms. She doesn't go with the natural flow or not the natural flow. She goes with the natural flow of life. She didn't do the structured lifestyles such as religion and so on. She lived amazing life. And as you are looking at her funeral needs, please keep in mind her unfailing love and her way of living, her way of life. And she wants to be celebrated. A celebration of life, rather a celebration of death. And she's asking this from the most sacred heart I've ever felt. This lady has lived her life in service of others, and she's just asking to be put to rest in her terms, as she knows that she has just crossed a pathway to more, and she will serve on this level of light that is unknown to the human eye yet. And she has a large family. I can sense that. She's like breathing into all of you, saying, let go of each of your individual belief systems and celebrate me. Because you're forgetting that, so she's just having a funeral. You're forgetting it's about her. So thank you. And if that person wants to share that story or just reach out to us like that girl did. It just happened that beautiful teenager that came last week. She's so close to crossing over. She's checking me out, but I'm doing the best I can to stay in communication. But just like Billy's daughter did last week, we shared this message to the father. He reached out. It just happened to align perfectly. So I'm trusting very highly that this person that has just crossed over recently knew that someone listening will know what I'm sharing. So thank you for letting us share. Thank you for being here. I know that we get a lot of responses, and it's very interesting that when I share stories of other people's questions, other people's journeys that they share that I can share, it comes to, or I'll also get a whole flood of other people saying, I'm so glad you said that on air. I'm so glad you asked that. Sometimes, most of the time, almost all the time, it's very confusing to me. So I do the best I can to translate and to share what they're saying in a way that I've seen. Because some spirits will show me like this ancient or like a little relic or something that I've never ever seen before, but their dad has it on their shelf or something, and I'm trying to explain what that looks like, which is really difficult sometimes. So I'm doing the best I can, and I thank you for the amazing responses that we do get. If you want a healing online, if you have somebody you want to talk to, just email me at Nicole Ashton. No, I forgot. That's my name, but it's energyhealingbydesign.com. And on there's a form, or energyhealing@gmail.com. So this is the life of a medium. You're in and out of worlds. And I feel like today has been in and out, up and down. But it's for whoever is stepping into a mediumship right now, whoever is really being guided to share their gifts. And it's very, very hard for you. I can feel and see it, but Spirit is saying it's going to be okay. Times like these happen, and that person will get the message and they're going to respond. I know they are. And it's going to change a whole family's life, and this funeral is going to be beautiful. But this light worker or this medium, your messages are important, and they do change lives, and they do create harmonious situations. And sometimes we do look like this, like I have no idea what I'm talking about, because I don't. This is somebody else's information. This is somebody I don't even know. But they knew somebody listens to me that would know, just like last week. Step into your gifts, and we're here to support you. And so many is talking to me right now. There's somebody's grandpa here. A female's grandpa is here. He has speckled hair, peppered hair, and he says that you've been crying in your closet for a couple nights now, and he's telling you to go in the extra rooms closet. You must have extra room in your house, and there you have like a shoebox or a box of something. I don't think it's a shoebox, but it's that size, and there's something in there of his that you need to hold and remember, and everything's gonna be okay. You're not alone. There's all your ancestors are around you, and the only thing that's keeping you from knowing that or feeling them is you. You're afraid. Your emotions are pushing them away, and sometimes we have to let them go. Like last week, you have to let them go to feel them. So be okay. Acknowledge that they transitioned, but they're still there. And then you're going to start to feel when you're in your closet. Close your eyes, and it is dark. But imagine these little white lights, some blue and some pink, just whatever comes to you. They're like little, first they just come as little like dots. So then they get brighter and brighter and brighter. And as you invite those in, those ancestors, guides, loved ones, your grandpa, you're going to feel, sense, and know you're not alone. And that heartbreak that you're going through, that's not your friend of your grandpa, but it must be a relationship, hand that to your grandpa, hand that to the angels. They know how to work through that more than you do right now, because emotionally you're not in a space to handle that. So I invite you to take a deep breath in. Now on the out breath, let out the want to control the situation, because it's really out of your control right now. And allow the ancestors and guides to help you along with your family members that are trying. We're going to shine our light in that closet, April, and just shine like a Care Bear smile and just shine. And I invite you, this person that's a female, to feel that light, like move into your energy fields, into your space, and then like reach your hand down, we're grabbing you out. And I promise, once you let go of that last fear for you don't need anybody, I don't need help, you're gonna feel this biggest block and resistance in your heart chest happen. And take a deep breath in and out. I'm super excited to share these stories next week, because I can feel that it's coming. And it did last week too. People did share and start communicating, but as far as the people that are alive said, oh my gosh, that changed my life. We did get the teenagers, father the message. And so this is working, but bear with me, because I'm in 4 or 5 different worlds right now doing the best I can. And I'm not going to lie, I'm still kind of having this, oh crap, I'm vulnerable on air, and what emails am I going to get now? So, we're doing the best that we can. And I'll just keep showing up, doing this work.
So when you're talking about the lady and planning the funeral, I could see, I keep seeing curly hair. Like, I want to avoid that, but I keep seeing curly hair. But I keep seeing dancing, a white skirt, red lipstick, and music. I don't know if that's helpful. And also, like, I was getting a bit of a backache. Like, maybe somebody's carrying this burden of trying to make it perfect, and it's not really the way she would want it to be. So maybe letting go of that too. I don't know.
Yeah. The one that's listening to the lady that has just recently crossed over in the last couple of days, it's a family member. We're just inviting you to, if you need assistance, reach out. I'll be more than happy to help you, since we are sharing this on air. To open up to what she would love, and that is a celebration of life. It's not the traditional mourn for me. She understands the transitioning piece. She understands that it's just a new phase of life, and it's hard for some people to understand, and that's okay. But there is a family member that understands her wishes, and I'm not seeing her, so I usually don't. I usually hear and feel. So that's what I'm feeling, and man, am I ever just grateful for this connection and gifts? You know, sometimes we think they're burdens and they feel like nights of crying for other people and taking on emotions and stuff. You know what it is, but I'm telling you, once and again to this, it's this worker that just needs to come out of her shell before it physically. It's really, your soul's telling you need to. It's really going to hurt you physically if you don't. But the rewards of assisting someone and them coming and looking you in the eyes and giving you a great big hug, even sometimes it's a year or 2, 5 years later, someone will come and hug you and tell you their story that you assisted them in so many years ago, and they like. Some people say, I thought you were bat crap crazy, and I just didn't even want to listen to it until last year. And this was a client, actually, I think 5 years ago I saw. And 2 years, and then they come to me and they tell me their story. And I'm like, oh. And everything had worked out. They stepped into their energies. And I mean, I promise you, it feels uncomfortable at first. But once you stand in that power and realize you're doing it, the simpler, this is what I'm getting, the simpler you make your practice as well, the simpler you make it, the more love you're able to share. So
I love it. Thank you.
You are welcome.
I'm over here thinking too hard. I'm like, I think I know who you're talking about. I'm excited to talk with you after.
Oh, there's just I have so much coming through right now. It is the simple things. There's when you can sit and be a teacher and and being a student, being in observation, and the most experience that I can ever share with you is when I have went and sat and listened to people speak. When I have been like a supporter, even though I can see where things should go, or what it would be the easier path. It has been watching people experience their own paths and finding their truths and their story, and just watching people grow and be amazing. So today has been an interesting show. I love it. That's what you get when you have Spirit Guided Radio, and we're going to be here next week again. Email me, Nicole Ashton at energyhealingbydesign@gmail.com. We'll see you next week.
Have a good
You've been listening to Return to Consciousness with your host, Nicole Ashton, creator of Energy Healing by Design, a world-renowned healer and luminary whose life after death experience has allowed her the gift of empowering people around the globe to heal and grow in their true authentic space.